favorite bad deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm not talking like, oh, it's not tier 1, therefore it's not good. Yeah, I see you Unchained and Labyrinth fans, your deck is not bad, it is still really good. Anyway, one of my favorites is the S-Force archetype. The way I can describe S-Force as a deck is, like, it's not good, but like it does a lot of interesting things. Like, the best way I could describe this archetype is that it's essentially, the S-Force monsters are essentially a group of cards that want to swarm the board because they all have a unique floodgate effect that applies to every card in their respective columns. Yeah, this is another column-based strategy. So anyway, I'll briefly go over the deck. So first we're playing for the guys in archetype, we're playing 3 Retroactive and 3 Rapachiyamaru. These two are essentially the glue that holds this deck together. Like, they're the only reason this archetype is even remotely playable. Anyway, let's go over them. For starters, Rapachiyamaru has the effect that each... Yeah, I should probably talk about the relevant effect first. I mean, they're both relevant. Like, Rapachiyamaru has the effect to banish a S-Force card from your hand, to return it to the hand, and then special summon an S-Force from the deck. And she is the deck's main playmaker, but she also showcases one of the big issues with S-Force as a strategy, and that is a lot of our effects require us to banish cards from the hand in order to activate them. Like, for starters, like, Orifice has an effect like this, and Placewell has an effect like this too. So yeah, this kind of has a problem, is that so, like, the idea behind this is that, like, while yeah, you are going to be banishing stuff to activate effects, you can easily get those cards back via Platina and the Link 1, which are both really good cards, which we'll go over to in a minute. And I'd say one of this deck's biggest strengths is how well it utilizes it basically utilizes the banish zone the way most decks utilize the graveyard, and that's really interesting. It also unfortunately makes this, like, this is a deck you can play D-Shifter in, and I'm not doing that because I don't have the UR dust. I will be completely honest. I would do that if I had the dust. Also, another pro of this deck is that it's relatively cheap. Like, most of these cards are, like, ends and rares with the... You have a few like, Retroactive is a solo mode card, so, like, you basically get this for free. It's pretty much not even an SR. Like, so, like, the only SRs you need are Chase, Rapid, and Attack. While it's not... On paper, it doesn't sound like it's that good of an effect. It actually is pretty useful when you pair it with the Link monster. But before we talk about her, I think we should talk about Retroactive, who basically tries... The best way to describe Retroactive as a card is that this card basically tries to fix the issue of the S-Forces banishing shit from the hand. Essentially, what it does is that, for its main effect, it can return itself to the hand to special summon basically any S-Force monster. And this is really good because, A, like, it gets cards out of your hand, and B, it essentially replaces the card in your hand with something. Meaning that, like... Okay, I'm trying to explain this in a way that makes sense. Okay, maybe I should have went with the Link monster first, because I feel like this doesn't really make a lot of sense if you don't... So essentially, like, Night Shift... You know what, no, we're not going to do that yet, okay. So the basic gist is that this base is like one of these other guys. So that you can either unbrick, like, high-level guys in your hand, or it could be used in tandem with Rapachiyamaru to just be this constant resource loop, which is really nice. Like, it makes the deck pretty satisfying to play. And for its other, it doesn't, ironically enough, he doesn't actually have a column effect. Instead, he has a code talker effect where he can be used as link material for an S-Force monster, which is usually going to be good for the clapback more so than the initial, because we're not really going to be making Justify turn 1, it's more a 3 and onward play. But essentially, it essentially makes Justify a Link 2, because its third and final effect is that it can be banished from the graveyard to activate like Rapachiyamaru's effect. Like, there's another card that has an effect like this, the Trap also does. We see these two as quickly as possible. And as a result of that, we're playing... Actually, should I talk about that right now? Yeah, I feel like we should. As a result, we're playing a lot of consistency cards. Like, for example, we have 3 of the Fields Mill Bridgehead, which is basically just a Rhoda with the most laughably bad protection effect I have ever seen. Like, when activated, it adds an S-Force card, which is pretty good, and that's pretty much the reason why it's a 3 of just by itself. Like, that effect alone makes it a 3 of, just because Rhoda effects are really good, but, like, this other effect, I'm just it just shakes them. It just confuses me what they were thinking with it. So essentially, whenever your opponent, it's once per turn, battle protection, which is already really bad, but it's not even like universal. Like, it only protects a monster from battle if it's attacking something in the same column. And the idea behind that is that Ravachiyamura forces your opponent to attack a card in the same column, but like, this deck was made in like I think like either 2016 or 2017, and even for the time, this was a bad protection effect. And on top of that, the deck, as far as battle protection goes, this isn't even that. Like, we have better options for that. Like I don't know what they were thinking with this effect. Like, they couldn't even make it so that like it can protect from targeting or card effects. No, it's just battle, once per turn battle protection. Yeah, like, it's just really confusing. Anyway, it's a Rhoda, so that's why we're playing it at 3. And for the other two, like, we're playing Signet Mining, which on paper, we're playing this for one key reason. Like, technically speaking, there's other stuff we can do with it. Like, Razor's Edge and Orifice are both Cyber, so we can technically search those two with this, which is also good. But the main reason we're playing Signet Mining is for Meow Mine. This is just a pretty good, we can get it. Like, we have a Link. Basically, this is a card that can special summon itself if there's a Link monster on the field or in the graveyard. In a deck that has a easily summonable Link 1, this card is really good. But the main purpose for it is that it gives us access to Gigantic Sprite and Elf, which basically always lets us have access